What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Revan. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Gaia. His name is TIGERBOSS. The boss of the Tigers, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 game for the competitive mega random $1,000 tournament, I must add, just in case you guys have missed that. This is the Heimdall group. There are 8 separate groups at this stage of the tournament with 4 or 5 players in each of those groups, meaning that it's going to be a lot of games to play for everyone. And thus far, we're seeing the scheduling coming in very, very nice, very, very quick, and it's really nice to see. So TIGERBOSS taking that first game with some nice Uranus play, just moving things not too far from Uranus into Gaia. Gaia being one of those gods which I feel is very, very well-rounded here. Very strong god. If you know you're coming up against Gaia, there are a couple of ways in which you can kind of get some fairly standard strategic wins over Gaia. For example, some Loki strategies. If you want to pick Loki on this map, a lot of the times you can win with Loki. Some Norse strategies around booming to Ragnarok can be really tough for a Gaia player to defend, and a variety of different ideas really for players to take Gaia out. The problems start coming when players try to treat Gaia as if Gaia is Uranus, which Gaia is very much not. And what I mean by that is, like, you have to trying, like, 1, thinking that you just win the late game, which you don't. 2, thinking that you have some sort of inherent advantage where you don't have that set advantage, and a bunch of other things that might come down to it as well, as we are seeing a slightly obnoxious lure here from Revan, kind of making things a touch difficult for his villagers. And not only that, this house here, this placement of the house has been a little bit lackluster as well, causing the villagers to have quite a bit of walking time here in this game, which I very much don't like to see. Anyways, we'll check out that a little bit later, as we are seeing TIGERBOSS. He hasn't gotten any secondary upgrades just yet. I tell a lie, he's gotten himself hand axe, and he's already gotten himself channels, which makes a lot of sense to be grabbing very early here. So TIGERBOSS might be going for a delayed advance time. He's got a decent amount of food in his main base here. We talk about the actual map that we've seen here, seeming like it's a fairly decent hunt map. We've got a whole bunch of boar. We've got a whole bunch of auroch. We've got a random elephant on the map. It is a very, very familiar spawn, which is an oasis style spawn. Very small palm trees in the middle, but an oasis spawn with a ton of hunt here, as we are indeed seeing Revan going to the classical age very fast, mind you, through Ares. This is actually looking like the 4:03 advance time, and it's very, very close. It's 4:04 advance time here for Revan. The question is, how well is Revan actually going to be able to execute this one? Is he going for the rush? Is he going for a fast second town center here? Those are all the questions. Now, this town center is actually pretty good for Revan, as he's got those aurochs on it. He hasn't sent any villagers forward, so I've got really... I'm pretty confused. I don't know what he's going for here. It looks like he's going to be getting himself out the Cyclops. He's dropping himself a stable. He's going to be making himself the Hippolyta, and he's going double stable here as the wall segments are getting dropped. TIGERBOSS knows what's coming his way, and he knows he has to defend this tower, get himself watchtowers, and be in a good position. He's dropping himself a nice wooden wall here as well. And the big thing here is that, yes, Ares is a strong rushing god, but it doesn't actually mean that you have to rush with Ares. You can do things like cast Pestilence, and then just say, yep, that's it. That's all I wanted to do. That's completely fine. You can just cast Pestilence and life is fine. As you see, and then go about your business. We are seeing the units now moving forward. Have a hero Oracle getting converted over here to try and deal with the Theseus as the Cyclops is coming in. The defensive spider eggs getting dropped down. Unfortunately for the Cyclops, he can't just walk over here and pick the citizen up, as we are seeing the Theseus wandering forward here. I like that the Cyclops actually chose to go after the hero Oracle here, but that's going to be that, as we also see the Pestilence getting dropped on every one of TIGERBOSS's buildings here. This is as good as it gets for Revan, as the villagers get pushed off the hunt and they're currently idle, having to move back into their base. TIGERBOSS getting himself watchtowers here, so he's going to have to figure out a way through there. And the Hippocon are now starting to move out. Maybe going to get an eye on this location over here. The big problem for Revan is that while he does have some pigs in his base, he's not able to get hunt here. Or TIGERBOSS. The big problem for TIGERBOSS? The big problem for Revan would be that TIGERBOSS can get pigs, and cutting him off hunt isn't going to give him that much of an advantage here. But one thing I definitely would like is an attempt at taking this manor down. And here's another thing. There is no tower that protects this gold mine from this angle here. If Revan's noticed this, he can send his Hippolyta in and just hang out in this location and sling arrows at these villagers and live the dream here. So you do see these citizens are coming over here, and will Revan notice this or not? He's just moved his Hippocon through here, and he hasn't spotted this. These Hippocon have got a very, very low line of sight here, as they are standing right next to each other. Whole bunch of units are now out for TIGERBOSS. He's even got himself a catapulti here, which is going to go to town on those Hippocon. As the manor is getting left, the hero is going to be making their way around this location. You definitely do need to have all of your army here if you want to be preventing the hunt, and TIGERBOSS very smartly shifting the battlefield here, and Revan decides he has to retreat back. Now the question comes, do you go mass cavalry? Do you go one cavalry, one Hippocon? Do you go cavalry Toxotes here? All of these are pretty valid questions. And Revan's saying he's going to try archery range here. Now, the difference between archery range versus Uranus and archery range versus Gaia is these Terma are just not that good. So the Toxotes are a little bit safer. You keep them a little bit back in the army, and you can have a decent time where that's concerned, as the army walking straight past here, not allowing the Cyclops to pick up a unit there. Nice play, as the army's still pushing forward. We've got a handful of Hippocon just sitting over here. Meanwhile, town center going to be on the way here for Revan, as a whole handful of villagers going to be making their way onto that position, as Revan's just said, yep, time to go to town center, which might just be a really, really smart idea here from Revan. We'll see how it's going to go. If we take a look at TIGERBOSS's economy, he's got himself hand axe, pickaxe, channels, hunting dogs. I don't think he's got himself husbandry, which is a pretty big mistake considering he's been on those pigs for quite some time. And he's got a decent amount of pigs there to get the bonus food income for, as the town center coming up over here. We've got the units moving forward. We see Revan attempting some micro there, but he really shouldn't be fighting this this fight here, as the Cyclops does pick up the Murmillo there, almost hits the Terma with the throw, but not quite. That throw does a ton of damage. Very rarely do we check this, but the AoE damage bonus, what is it? It does 30 hack each bounce. 30 hack is a ton of damage. If you take a look at the actual HP here, 88 HP, basically does true damage against Terma. So if that had hit the Terma, they would have all dropped down to 50. And then if it bounced twice on a Terma or around a Terma, would have done 60, taking them down to 30 HP. Could have been absolutely gigantic. So you do see these villagers now trying to eat the Aurochs on this location, but TIGERBOSS says, nay, get out of here. And he gets the biggest surround on these villagers ever, as Revan tries to delete his granary to get out of here, but he loses so many villagers here, and the villagers are still dropping. A beautiful raid there by TIGERBOSS, and Revan says in that moment that he's not going to be able to continue here. A little bit of a sad ending for Revan. He's not out of the tournament just yet. That raid there was absolutely catastrophic for Revan, and not only that, you can see how low the food is. He definitely needed that hunt. but just not able to defend here. And TIGERBOSS too strong in this series, getting a quick 9-minute 35-second win here on the competitive Mega Random with some very strong Gaia play, strong Uranus play, and definitely showing that he's one to look out for in this tournament. I'm excited to see more games from him and Revan as we continue. If you guys enjoyed this game and this series and enjoyed tournaments in general for Age of Mythology, do consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.